Hello again to another episode of Mind of the Month. My name is Julia and you are tuned in to this month with my friend Sonja Lockyer. Hi Sonja.
Hello, thank you for inviting me.
Oh, it's my greatest pleasure. Greatest pleasure. And let me just tell you briefly, because when you have switched in for the first time or maybe several times, you know by now that I'd like to bring you stories and people who I adore, whose impact was great on me, and I see their impact is great on others. And one of those people is Sonja.
Oh, thank you.
Sonja is amazing. She's super talented, speaks from the heart, is tuned into so many things she is offering to women, where she wants to help women mainly to embody and feel into their best self and to come to live a place of well-being, right?
Yeah, absolutely, yes.
So let me just roughly tell you what Sonja does so that you are aware of her talents. She helps women with breath work, with meditation, is a yoga teacher since 20 years, I can't believe that, is very, very talented, does a Reiki, massage, and now the next thing is going to be...
Craniosacral therapy.
Thanks for saying that
thing.
word.
Yeah.
So it's uber exciting talking to her. We could talk for a very long time. We will keep this today on an exciting topic. So we're going to talk about love. And we're going to talk about love and how wonderful to have this in the month of December. And, you know, love in the way that we want to bring you practical tools and get an understanding of what it really means, not just reading a book about love, but that thing of love. How can we bring that into our lives? Do you want to add, first of all, anything to your wings, to your offerings? Koya I haven't mentioned. Oh, Koya is such an important part, and you have brought Koya to England as well.
Yeah, well, me and lots of other people, but the reason why love is such an important topic for me is because every modality that I work with, of which you've kindly talked about, and there are many, and for quite a long time I struggled to understand what the thread was that brought them all together, and I realized that love is quite simply the thread that brings them all together. They are all helping us access a reservoir of resource inside of us, and that resource is what I call love. So this is not about love as a sort of passive experience that if you're lucky enough you might fall in love and have a relationship based in love. This is a different interpretation of love as a doing word, a verb. It's a feeling state, a quality that is in the cells of your being and is available to you when you become still and allow yourself access to that. And it's deeply healing, it's deeply empowering, it's our greatest resource. And so love, for me, some people would use the word God, some people would use, I don't know, there's a million different words for an ultimately unnameable thing, but for me it is love. And the way that I've come to that is through some of life's ruptures. Everyone has life ruptures. I've realised no one gets away without a life rupture or two. And for me, those life ruptures have been an amazing opportunity to understand how you survive and how you get through those life ruptures, and then how you then move on to thriving and lifting yourself. And then, as it happens, a happy consequence of lifting yourself is that you start to lift other people as well. And that is definitely what my work is all about.
Wow, Sonja, and how important is that? There was so much in there. So first of all, thank you for doing what you do.
Thank you.
Thank you really for what you're doing.
Thank
And whoever sent you here into this area locally as well to make that impact, and then on a broader scale to impact people and to make that difference for people. Just wonderful to know you, to have you here.
Oh.
Now, we're talking about love, and the way you described it is that love which is inside of us. So it's like a quality, it's a resource we have. So you made clear we're not talking about love relationships, we're not talking about the love for your dog or the love for nature.
Although that is the same thing,
Yeah.
but that is the outward display of it.
Yeah.
What I'm interested in is how we access it inside of us.
Yeah.
And it's not dependent on the dog, the partner, or any external thing. It is already inside us. I'm sure you and everyone who works with you is familiar with the work of Joe Dispenza, Dr. Dispenza. And when he talks about quantum physics and the fact that when you go into the atom and you break it down and you break it down and you go subatomic and you break it down even more, eventually you get to a place where scientists have acknowledged that 99.999999999% of that is uncategorized, undefined space.
Yeah.
For me, that's love.
Like it.
That is that thing that cannot be replicated by science, that cannot be defined, and that creates miracles, that moves mountains. The experience that I had, where I had mild experiences of feeling that place when I gave birth, when I watched my dog get hit by a car, when, little mild moments of really rooting into something bigger than me to survive. But the ultimate experience was watching my son, who had a terrible accident. He was kicked in the head by a horse and had a fractured skull and brain damage, and basically his organs started to shut down in an ambulance, and I was with him, and I had this experience of holding his gaze as the machinery is going off and the paramedics are doing what they need to do, and he and I held the gaze. He's in a very bad state, but this gaze became something bigger than the story of what was happening around me. It became everything else literally no longer existed. There was nothing else. There was just this place between him and I where I was holding his soul by the ankles and saying, "You're not leaving." And he was holding on tighter, tighter, tighter. And when the ambulance arrived at the hospital, everything crashed and he went into resus, and amazingly he didn't pass away, and amazingly he's fully recovered, and that experience has a happy ending, which I'm so eternally grateful for. But that place that he and I were in when he came out of his coma, I asked him what he remembered, and he said, and he's 8 years old at this point, he said to me, "I remember being in the ambulance and I was scared because I was dying, but you held me with your eyes and you didn't let me go."
Yeah.
And I knew that what he was saying was true. I knew that is what had happened. And I'm not different to you. Any one of us can do that.
So obviously that is a very deep, life-changing situation.
Yes.
So, and
yes,
I
it is. I'm never the same person. Since.
Yes. So, and you were wonderful before, and you learned lessons through that, which made you even more deeper understanding about the non-tangible things. So how do you want to tell the people who are listening that they don't need to have that life-threatening situation happening?
Should we skip that bit?
So let's skip that bit for others and bring them into the space where they want to learn more about themselves. They know probably that they should love themselves. Like self-love is such a big deal. I'm reading a book at the moment, which Dying to Be Me. Anita
Such
Moorjani.
an amazing book.
And even listening to her words and saying, love yourself because your life depends on it, literally. And also ask yourself, when you're suffering, what is it there for me to learn?
Yeah.
Like what am I missing? How am I not loving myself enough so that I'm suffering?
What's this showing
What
me?
is it showing me? So I'm seeing a thread there. Maybe you can get to that the self-love. How do we nurture ourselves so that we are full and aware of the love, that we can almost, as if we fill ourselves a cup of coffee or tea, that we know what to do do that with love internally, because we can't buy it, we can't see it.
No.
So we got to know how to.
Thank you for that question, because that is exact. So after that ambulance moment, I made massive changes in my life, and I started to use the hashtag Forever Changed, and or Forever Grateful and Forever Changed, because that is how I felt. So this is maybe 2 years ago now, and I've been curious since then of what was that thing. What was that space? How do I... So obviously I know how to get there when I'm under trauma, but how do I get there when I'm not under trauma? Because that's the place I want to come from. That's where I want my day to begin.
Yeah.
And I have realised that what that place was presence. When every single part of me was harnessed with one aim, and that aim in that moment was to save my son's life. Easy to see how you would want to do that. But now the work that I teach and the book that I'm currently writing is about well-being rituals. So these well-being rituals are a daily practice to resource from that place without going into trauma, but tapping into the trust of knowing that that exists within the cells, that is always present, and committing to, I want this to guide my decision-making, my words, my actions, my relationships today.
Yeah.
And
for that to have a better relationship with yourself, a more truthful relationship,
it can only begin
aligned,
with yourself.
And then that translates into our love relationships, into our friendships, into our
ripples
career,
into
everywhere.
And I think it's a constant recommitment. This is not something that you can do once and then it's done. That's why a wellbeing ritual is a daily practice.
So do we have to be doing yoga 10 hours a day to get there?
No, definitely not.
Right.
The thing, there are many different ways. For some people it is a movement practice. I know a lot of people who run, and that is their way of doing it. Personally, whenever I work with anyone, it always begins with a breath practice. The breath seems to be an amazing way to take you there. Stillness, any form of meditation can be a way. Aromatherapy, massage treatments, yoga, koya. Really, it's about exploring options of well-being practices that you can fit into your life within the schedule and the reality of your life, because there is no point saying I need to do an hour and a half every day when you've got 2 young kids and you don't sleep at night because the baby's waking you up, and you know that just isn't realistic. If you're a householder, you may be up to doing a 5-minute well-being ritual,
but you want to come from a place of love.
Yes, intention is everything.
Yes. And so how do you do it? How do you do it? How do you stay in? How do you get to that place?
Well, I am very invested in this.
Yes.
Because this is my whole life.
So.
So I have just done, we're at the end of 2019. I sat down yesterday and I wrote a schedule for 2020, which involves a massage treatment every month. I see an empowerment coach every equinox and solstice, so 4 times a year. I have a counsellor who I talk through things with, because there is unresolved stuff from my life that I'm dealing with. And so I call in support. I call in the support that I know I need, and I schedule it in my diary, and that's a priority. And then on a daily basis, I agree to recommitting to love. So I'll set my alarm for 6, and I will practice a breath practice and a meditation. And before I do any of those things, I state my intention. And my intention is always a question, because the brain loves a question. The brain loves to resolve questions.
I like that.
So my intention at the moment is, how is love making this easier for me? I ask that question, and then I go into a breath practice, which I'd be delighted to share with you.
Oh yes, please.
And then I actually listen to a Joe Dispenza meditation at the moment, but that changes. Sometimes I do a yoga practice, sometimes I dance, that does change, but the intention and the breath practice is
Stays the
constant.
Same. And so before we do the breathwork exercise, and everyone can join in, what did you notice from people, like young or old? You work with teenagers, you work with women. What do they like best? What seems to be working best for them to integrate? Is it the meditation and the breath work?
I think the breath work is the thing that everybody responds to. I work with a lot of very highly sensitive people, because highly sensitive people find life pretty rough. It's heavy on us, the pace, the noise, and so for someone who is very highly tuned and very highly sensitive, to do a meditation practice can feel like an impossible task. But one breath at a time feels accessible.
Okay.
So I would say that the breath is definitely where I begin always.
Oh, Sonja, I mean, we could literally talk more and more and more. And I would
forever
like to talk about
day.
Joe Dispenza. I'd like to talk more about Anita Mojani. And you incredibly recommended the book The Untethered Soul to me, which left me
such a beautiful book.
a new place as well.
Yeah.
So let's do the breathwork exercise.
Yeah,
So that
okay,
we have something
wonderful.
people can do and really tap into that space of love.
Okay, I'd love to. It would be a total pleasure to do that.
Okay, so do we need to prepare?
Yeah, so you want to sit or lie in a way that your spine is straight. So there is really no rules other than the spine being straight and being super comfortable. So the great thing about that is you can do it in bed. So if it's a morning practice and it's cold outside, keep your duvet on and do your breathwork practice, which works well for me. So with your spine straight, just maybe make a little bit of space around your neck and just check there's no tension around your ears. And then drop your eyelids and maybe even drop your chin so your face is in the direction of your heart. Take a deep breath in and then breathe out through the mouth. And then breathing in through your nose and breathing out through your mouth. And we'll do it one last third time, in through the nose and out through the mouth. So already that's starting to change the chemistry of your body. Your nervous system is receiving the message that you're safe because your breath is slowing down. Now, the breath I'm going to do with you today, you're going to take your hand in front of you with your palm facing upwards. And as you inhale, you're going to raise the hand in front of you. And then at the end of that inhale, when there's nothing more to be inhaled, you're just going to hold and turn the palm so that it faces downwards. And then as you exhale, you're going to let the hand drop down in front of you. And at the end of the exhale, where there's nothing left to be breathed out, you're going to slowly turn the palm to face upwards. And then inhale, rise. Turn the palm. Exhale. And turn the palm. Inhale. Turn the palm as you hold. Exhale. Turn the palm. Inhale. Hold. Exhale. And hold. One more time, inhale. Hold. Exhale. And hold. And you keep your eyelids down, bring your hands into your lap. Let the breath return to normal and just notice what stories may have come up and which parts of your body might be feeling things. And if they are, What are they feeling? And after that, it's a great opportunity to grab a pen and a notepad and write down whatever is coming up for you. It's a way to explore this internal landscape. What truly is rising in you at the moment, and how is that expressing itself through your body?
Oh.
Pretty simple.
Thank you. Yes, it's breathing. We all can do that.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you for facilitating that.
All of these tools, they're so simple, but they're not easy. It's the, for me anyway, it's the showing up for myself that is the challenge. I, like everyone, I have a million different things calling on me. But what I've learned is when I do show up, time expands and space is created for things and for doors to open and opportunities to arise that I could never have created through the force of my mind. But what I know is that when I do drop into that place of love, through stillness, through breath, through whichever means necessary, even if it's for 5 minutes every day, then the good stuff starts to happen.
And we want that.
Oh, we do.
Oh, we do. Oh, thank you so much. For me, it came up that you were facilitating that wonderful breathwork exercise at Wellbeing by the Lakes. I was right there again with all the colors and everything. So that was just beautiful just now. So thank you again for that.
Thank you so much, and thank you for the wonderful work you're doing.
Oh, thank
you. It's a real
you.
honour to be here.
So to finish this, I'd like to know from you two things. One thing is, what excites you at the moment? What are you fascinated by?
So I am beginning in January to study biodynamic craniosacral therapy, which, as far as my very limited understanding at this moment goes, is about the current of intelligence that moves in our bodies. And what I love about that and all the practices I teach is self-agency. The fact that we take responsibility for our own healing. We don't go to a outside source, a doctor or a healer or a massage therapist or anyone, and go, save me. What we do is say, help me remember how to save myself. And that is exciting me at the moment.
I love that. Good luck with that.
Thank you.
Luck with that and on that journey. And the last thing is, what is happiness for you?
Happiness for me is calm stability.
I like it. Like it.
And that's showing up, isn't it? On
Yes.
a daily basis.
Yes. Oh, thank you. If you enjoyed Sonja's insights and teachings, you probably want to reach out to her and find a space on her waiting list for massages and and any other treatments she's offering. Wonderful. We will put everything in the show notes, and you can reach out to her and ask questions and put more information in. And I hope you enjoyed that.
Thank
All
you
right.
so much.
Thank you so much. Bye bye.